thing is, I didn't even know who arranged the hotel room because I can't really tell what the heck is going on. Everything's going on so quickly. And then that's when they said, oh, the municipal president covered the hotel room.
Arie Huggerbrug, also known as Safari Arie, started in St. John's, Newfoundland on November 12, 2019. His mission? To bike the road less traveled. Today is just one pedal closer to the tip of Argentina. All right, hey everybody, this is Brandon McCaskill. Welcome to the Safari Arie Roadshow. We have Arie Huggerbrug here with us. He is the gentleman that is biking across 24 different countries, and we're talking to him now. So Arie, how's it going, sir?
Things are, I don't even know where to begin. On one sense, things are going actually really, really well. I'm also, I'm not going to get into it right now. I am sort of dealing with something that on the side that has got me a little bit stressed out, that is freaking me out about getting to these other 24 countries, but I'm not going to get into that right now, but I'm hoping that sort of issue resolves itself. But so let's talk about Mexico. Mexico has been unbelievably awesome. In fact, it's like overwhelming. Like, I don't even know really even where to start or begin. And it's been that way for quite a few weeks, ever since I biked into Durango, which seems like 10 lifetimes ago, because I feel like I've lived 10 lifetimes since Durango. And it just has never stopped. It has never stopped since Durango, of when these people pulled me off the side of the road and brought me to this bike shop and then to the city and being toured around, and like 30 people showing up and them biking me to the next town. And but that's like past history, so we won't get into that too much kind of deal. But I'm just saying, like, since arriving in Durango, which is like only like 350 kilometers maybe away or something, give or take, it just has never stopped. It has never stopped. So last time we actually spoke, I was in Vinsquerero, which is like only 210 kilometers away. And so I had amazing experiences there. I was actually being recognized by store owners. I actually received like free meals because I'd walk into a restaurant and they'd like, "You're the Canadian cyclist, aren't you?" And then they wouldn't take my money kind of deal. So it was just, I was there actually almost a week, thanks to my host, Ben. And then the bike shop owner, Ariel, he actually took me out on a tour to a national park. And then actually when I did leave Vinsquerero, he actually biked about 25 kilometers with me. And when basically to the entrance of that national park that he brought me to the day before. And then so when we got there was another cyclist and a vehicle waiting for me. And they basically, as I said my goodbyes to Ariel, another cyclist, Gabriel, a young guy, and then this gentleman, Victor, drove behind us in a car. It's kind of like a flag car. And so we we biked another in around 25 kilometers to Sombrerte. And we get to the downtown, and within literally seconds, and I'm not kidding, like within seconds, there was some guy with his phone from some news group that they were doing a Facebook Live. And of course, nobody spoke English, more or less, other than like 3 or 4 words. And so and then like within seconds of this interview starting, all of a sudden they call him the municipal president. So it'd be like the mayor of the city showed up. And so now I was being interviewed with the mayor of the city. And the thing is and then that interview ends. And then like I said, there's very little English being spoken, but basically now I'm being told that, this person here is going to be your tour guide, and she's going to give you a tour of the city later on. But now we're going to take you to a hotel, because I didn't even know where I was staying. And they're like, now we're going to take you to this hotel where you'll stay. And so then they took me to this hotel. And then later that evening, I went on the tour kind of deal. And then the next day I connected with actually one of the other guys that joined me for part of the ride into the city. He was actually in a vehicle also. So I actually had 2 vehicles behind me. His name was Roman. And he was like, you have to stay another day. We've already made arrangements that your hotel room is taken care of, kind of deal.
Wow.
And so I was like, well, and I didn't even know, the thing is, I didn't even know who arranged the hotel room because I can't really tell what the heck is going on. Everything's going on so quickly.
Yeah.
And then that's when they said, oh, the municipal president covered the hotel room. It's like, okay, so the mayor of Sombrete took care of my arrangements. And then it was just an amazing experience. I joined up with the mountain bike group. We went up to this, there's a massive hill. The town is actually named after the mountain, but it's not, the mountain is not called Sombrete. It's some other name, something similar. I think it means the hat, I think, or something. And anyways, there's this massive cross. Like it's like 15 meters high or something. Anyways, we went up there and then it's like, oh, and by the way, you have to stay another day. We've already arranged it. And then what happened was they found me a host, and because they were going to pay for the hotel room because the mayor paid for 2 nights and the bike group was going to pay for the 3rd night. And then what ended up happening is they found me a host instead, and they actually gave me the money that the hotel was going to cost, kind of deal.
Oh, wow.
And then the next day, I had a couple cyclists bike out 20 kilometers, three cyclists, Roman, of course, again, and then my host, Ariel, I think is how you pronounce it, and her husband, Juan. They came out about 20 kilometers, and they said, oh, by the way, in 20 more kilometers is going to be Victor, the guy that came with you in the car originally a few days ago. He's going to be waiting for you there, and he's going to take you to lunch, kind of deal. And so I make it to the town is called, sorry, I'm following my notes because just so much is going on. So San Alto. So I meet Victor there, and while we're eating lunch, he's on the phone, and then he gets off, and I don't really know, like I said, I really don't know what's going on minute to minute. Then he's like, let's go get some ice cream. So he takes me for ice cream. And then he's like, oh, and your new host is going to be here in a minute. And I'm like, what? I have a host here in this town? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. So then this other guy shows up, and he's like, follow us. So I follow them because they go in the car and I'm on my bike, and all of a sudden we arrive at a hotel, and they're like, this is where you get to stay tonight. So now I'm at another hotel. And so, yeah. And then the next morning, a friend of Victor actually calls me, and Martin, his name is Martin, he's a teacher, and he goes, I was actually hoping to have hosted you last night, but I had other people in my house and with work and everything. But anyways, I'd like to take you to breakfast. So I meet him for breakfast, kind of deal. And so anyways, so finally I get out of that town, and now I'm making my way to Fresnillo. Hold on, try that again. Fresnillo, which interestingly enough is, I was told by many people, is the most dangerous city in all of Mexico.
Oh, really?
So anyways, I make my way there, and no word of a lie. So I bike into the downtown, because there's always, that's the amazing thing about these Mexican cities and Mexican towns, is there's always a main center. There's what they call the centro. It's like a plaza. And in that plaza, so they have like this small park with benches and some trees and some bushes and all that. But there's always an extremely old Roman Catholic church that is, I mean, if you've seen the photos on Facebook, you've seen how beautiful they are. So there's always one of these massive churches in the center.
Yeah. So
anyways, I arrive downtown. I'm not really sure what the deal is because I never know what to expect. And so I make my way to the downtown, and of course there's this massive big church there. So I go in because the door is open, and because a lot of times if the door is open, I go in to try to take photos, but the door isn't always open. It's a real hit and miss sometimes with some of these churches. So it's like I go in right away, and I take all these photos, and I exit the church, and there's this young guy, Horacio is his name. He's sitting on a bench, and he looks at me, and he waves me over, and he goes, I recognize you. You are the one that biked with my 3 friends out of Sombrete. And I'm like,
pretty cool.
Okay. Yeah, just completely random. And because later I asked him, I said, how often do you come down here? He goes, oh, not very often, almost never. And so we have this random interaction. So it's like, yes. So we start talking. All of a sudden he's like, hold on. He gets on the phone, and he gets on the phone with the mayor of that town. Right. And I'm like, you know this guy? I mean, because like Horatio, he's like 24 years old. He's just this young guy. He's like half my age. Right. And he's getting on the phone with the mayor. And so I guess what happened is the mayor sent the fire chief down to meet me. And so they decided they are going to let me stay at the fire station. So they escort me to the fire station, and that's where I'm going to stay. And so then Horatio, we make this arrangement that the next day he's going to take me to this other town. I'm not even going to pronounce it. It was like we walked like 6 kilometers north. And I'm not even going to try to pronounce it because there's a real famous cathedral there. And so we walk there, and we go inside and we take all sorts of photos and this and that. And then we exit the church. And so I'm like, now what? Because I really don't know what's going on like minute to minute. And he's like, oh, the fire chief is on his way here. I'm like, okay. And then it's like, and so then the fire chief shows up. And so we do some talking, and then all of a sudden the Ministry of Tourism of the city shows up. And so I meet with them, and so we do some photos, this and that, and then all of a sudden an ambulance shows up, and that's our ride back into Sombrerto, because like I said, we did like a 6-kilometer walk to this other town.
Yeah.
And so we got a ride in an ambulance back into town. And then we got back into town, then the Ministry of Tourism guy showed up again, and he took me out to lunch. Wow. So yeah, it's just, now I'm trying to even remember because, like that's the thing is it's like so much is going on that I have to actually like think about what happened. Okay, so then yesterday, what happened is I am preparing to leave the fire station. I actually snapped a bolt on my bike that I was trying to tighten. And there's a bike shop about 2 kilometers from the fire station. So I have to go to this bike shop. Anyways, they can't fix my bike properly, but they can make it so I can get to my current town, which is Zacatecas.
Right.
Anyways, while I'm there, they get on the phone with someone in this town, and voila, I have a host. I have a roof over my head just that quickly. But the thing is so after I deal with the bike shop, I actually have to go back to the fire station because they want to escort me out of the city. So it was just in a pickup truck following behind me to keep me safe from the traffic. But I had an escort from the fire department outside the town. For about 10 kilometers.
That's cool.
And so, yeah, and I can't even remember how many kilometers, I don't know. I think I biked it was like 50 to 60 kilometers to get here to Zacatecas. And my current host, actually, because she's a cyclist, biked out and biked with me for about 10 kilometers into town kind of deal. So it's like, since I've left Durango, I mean, I have almost like not biked alone because I've just had these escorts from one town to the next town. Since Durango, which like I said, I think is about 350 kilometers, give or take, I have received and accepted well over 200 Facebook friend requests from Mexicans between Durango and this city. And it's really interesting because I always see where like the information about, and they're all living between Durango and this city. I have like over 200 friend requests over. Wow. So all I do all day is accept friend requests from Mexicans. It's been crazy. It really, really has been crazy. And on the flip side, it's been an interesting experience because I'm actually very introverted. Right. And so I love it for sure. I mean, it's such an amazing experience. I mean, take advantage of this experience while it lasts for sure. But it's like, I'm so exhausted at the end of the day. Um,
Well,
it's
you know what I
just,
find very
and then,
interesting is even just like a year and a half, whenever we met, a year and a half ago, or is
well,
that?
we've never met, but I mean,
Oh, really? Is it?
technically we've never met
Well,
in
we
person,
yeah,
but
when we got
we,
connected,
that was March of last year. Cause that was, I
right,
think that was just before COVID hit.
right. And I
Because
remember
we did
getting
our,
questions from people because we would go to Facebook and ask people to ask us questions to talk about on the show, and a lot of people had
yeah.
concern about you entering Mexico and like
Oh,
farther south,
yes,
and they were scared for your safety,
yes,
but it seems to be
yes.
like the complete opposite.
Mac, you know what? Not even for a second, not even for a second
Yeah,
have I ever been concerned, period.
yeah,
I'm at, like, this is my 14th host in Mexico,
that's
14.
insane.
And now I guess technically when I left Sombrerto, I just crossed the north to the south. Basically in Sombrerto, there was a place that I went to. Actually, I guess we'll post a photo of this. We can do this. Is there's just a very thin, I don't know, monument or whatever that is considered the actual center of the country of Mexico. And so technically yesterday I was at the very, very center. And I actually, the other interesting thing is I did, on my way to Sombrerto, yes, I guess it would be on my way, I actually crossed the Tropic of Cancer. Kind of, there was a sign on across the highway that I crossed the Tropic of Cancer. Excuse me. But, and that was in the other, and I mean, and that's the thing is, and when I say this is I don't diminish, the violence that does happen. In fact, I think it was just, south of Fresnillo. I know I screwed that up.
I can't remember.
Only about like 30 to 40 kilometers south or something, give or take. I did see a post that literally 1,500 people were basically forced out of their homes from drug violence, like only 30, 40 kilometers from where I was. I quite understand what the post was, but basically like not that far from where I was, there was, so when I say this, I don't diminish some of the experiences that people, especially in particular Mexicans, have to live through or have. But Fresnillo is, I was told by at least a dozen people that is the most dangerous city in all of Mexico. And I never once was concerned for my safety at all. I walked around quite a bit of the city because that's when I come to a city, I always try to visit all the cathedrals and to take photos. And I have no idea where those cathedrals are in relation to where the quote unquote bad parts of the city or town may be. I just follow my Google map on my phone. Okay, this is where the next place is, and I go. For all I know, I've gone through the most. I remember once when I was in LA, I showed my host my routing in LA, and he's like going, "Holy smoke, man! You went right through the hood," kind of deal. And it's like, well, you know what I mean. But no, I had not for a single second been concerned about anything in this country. Not for, and like I said, I'm at my 14th host. Canada was 55 hosts. Of course, a very big country. The US was 10 hosts. And I'm already 4 hosts above America, and I'm not even. And I'm like, I've just entered the south, what's considered south of the country.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. Who knows? I mean, I don't know what's around the corner. As soon as I leave this town, it could be the end of it. I don't know. It's real, like, because I've met so many people. I've met hundreds and hundreds of people. There's nothing to suggest that will stop, but it could. I don't know. A lot of people have been telling me that the South is very, very different than the North, but I don't know what that means. Does that mean they're not friendly in the South or that they're more friendly? I have no idea. But that's the other thing is probably the one common thing about characteristic of Mexicans is they are very concerned and determined to make sure that my experience is good. I've never met, like, honestly, like literally like word for word, like when I speak to someone in English, like the way they explain it in English is that they're like, it's very important that your experience is good going through our, like, it's so weird. It's like, I mean, obviously Canadians are friendly, but
Mhm.
I've never heard another Canadian say, it's important for us to make sure that you're, to a tourist that your experience in Canada is good kind of deal. It's like, it's like, hey, yeah, you're in Canada, I enjoy, you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
it's a beautiful country, but it's not like, honestly, it's like it's a Mexican's first priority, literally, is to make like the ones I meet, the Mexicans I meet, it's like their first priority when they meet me is to make sure that I have a good experience in this country.
Hmm.
And that's how it's been articulated to me, which
Wow.
is, a little bit mind boggling. You'd think that you'd think, well, they've got their problems and their concerns to deal with, and they've got to deal with their day to day. No, but
Oh yeah.
when they meet me, all things drop, and their first concern is about my happiness in their country.
That's awesome.
So it's mind boggling. The whole experience has been surreal. I mean, the whole country has been amazing experience, but it's just these last 350 kilometers. Like that's like from Toronto to Kingston or something like that. Like, you know what I mean? It's like from you to Toronto.
Yeah.
From Sarnia to Toronto.
Yeah.
I've had all these, you know what I mean? Like, if you were to bike from Sarnia to Toronto, you probably wouldn't even see a single person. It would just be cornfields.
I probably
know what
die.
I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably die. But I mean, it's just like, it's just mind boggling what has happened in 350 kilometer length of a single highway. So
awesome. So what's next for you? Where are you headed next?
I have no, well, I guess technically the next major, well, there is a city, Guadalupe, I think is pronounced, is right beside. So I'm probably going to be here a little bit while in this area, because there's literally two cities side by side. I'm going to be heading south a little ways to a city that I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce, not even a chance. But there's someone there that wants to host me. And then I'll probably swing east to San Luis Potosí. I can't believe I forgot this. San Luis Potosí, I believe is the city. Yes.
Yeah.
People are just laughing at me that know Mexican cities. They're like, dude, you shouldn't even be doing video. Anyways, that is a massive major city that is, many people have said it's like almost like the most beautiful city in Mexico, more or less. So,
right.
So ultimately I'll be there, but who knows how long it's going to take me.
Awesome.
But yeah, probably been rambling long enough.
It's always good to hear from you, sir.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in and listening, and we look forward to the next time we talk to Arie. Arie, thank you so much. Wish you well, and we'll please subscribe, and we'll talk to you soon, Arie. Take care.
All right.
Bye.